Yo, it's your favorite stringer, fans and crosses, guys. We're gonna change things up a little bit. We're gonna do story time. You guys have been so supportive of the channel, and you guys give me comments and just kind of ideas, and it helps me because like sometimes I know what I want to talk about, but if like I have a direction, it does help out a little bit. And tonight I want to talk about mains and crosses, about myself, actually, the things I go through. And I think the best way to get through to you guys and new people is to kind of like, hey, what's the best thing about us is we're great storytellers, and genuine stories can really help your brand and marketing too. Like if you have, everybody wants to hear a good story, right? Every good story, you have a character. They're gonna have to go through a something that's like bothering them. It could be hurdles or whatever, and then how they accomplished and maybe how they persevere, right? So for us, Mains and Crosses, we started out 2012, and if you guys haven't been here with us so long, and we started on Instagram. I think the first picture I took was on my tennis stringing machine. I had like a glass of wine. It had nothing to do with anything else. Like, hey, I'm about to string, and then I posted. Next thing you know, I started getting followers. 200 turned into 300, 400. The next thing you know, I'm in the thousands, and now we're kind of here set solid. Never broke the 10K thing, and it's and it makes sense because like who likes string, right? But for us, a string became a necessity because it was a source of income. When I got out of the military in 2012, and it was a big time, guys, and this is opening up, and I'm still going through it, but less and less in my mind, which is when I got out of the military. I felt like that's one chapter I didn't close so well. I knew I could have done better, or I knew I could have made better decisions, and I don't regret getting out. But now seeing my friends, after it's got into we got in 2004, and now it's 2024, almost 20 years. Some people are retiring, they're getting paid to work on their second home, second mortgage. They're becoming chiefs, master chiefs, or becoming an officer, and professionally just seem more sound. And I was like, you know what, that regret has always been eating me inside. It's like, and I dream about it sometimes, like I'm back in uniform, just like, hey, if I made these moves, or if I didn't make these moves, it would be different. And I tell myself each time, like, I gotta forget some of the past, and it's kind of hard, especially if it's like a very, I wouldn't say dark times, but obviously I wasn't in harm's way or into battle and having PTSD. But for me, it was more like, not regrets, but like if it wasn't for that part of me getting out of the military, and I probably wouldn't have this podcast. I wouldn't be here. Mains and Cross would not be here because Mains and Cross, I strung, not because I enjoyed tennis, not because I played when I was a kid. I did this purely because it was a good source of income. I knew there was a niche in it. I knew that if I did this, somebody will pay me, and it's going to pay me well. And I started having stringing as my side gig and beer money, and then it's like, oh, there's pocket change here, there, gas money. Next thing you know, it's like, okay, it's electrical bill money. The next thing you know, it's like, oh, I can get rent off of this. And the next thing you know, it's like, hey, now tennis became my main source of income, and now I'm supplementing with other jobs. And what I'm going through life right now is actually going through my experience and writing a resume, and that really shows and sometimes it hurts, right? When you're looking through your resume, it's like, my goodness, what have I accomplished? Some people, we love tennis, right? Some people like, hey, I'm a tennis pro, this is what I've been doing, I do it well, it pays well. But like in this economy, you need that third and fourth career, you need that job. So it's like, hey, I gotta get back into the workforce. Wow, all these people are finishing with master's degrees and things like that. And when you're doing the resume, it's like, well, I got 10,000 hours of feeding the ball time, and I strung X amount of rackets. I've done this X amount of tennis tournament. What does that relate to, right? And sometimes it's definitely not depressing. It just kind of gets you into like that mode, like, is this all been worth it? And I don't know. Like for me, luckily I had a whole career supplementing my passion for stringing and a passion for this brand. And what I mean for that is, like, I've done a lot of odd jobs. Been a dental assistant, massage therapist, cosmetology, hairstylist, barber for like over 5 years. What else? Medical records. I did landscaping, HVAC, facilities. Like, I did all this because I wanted to stay focused with stringing. And all those jobs that I listed had a lot of perks where it gives you that free time to navigate with your schedule and work on your stringing and work on your clientele, work on your brand, go to the US Open, do all this and that and there. Like, there's a lot of things we take for granted being in the tennis, because, hey, we're working Monday through Friday, maybe weekends, feeding balls, coaching, stringing, things like that. But, it's hard to run a business and a family, especially when you got wife, kids, dogs, mortgage, all that good stuff, right? So, I want to talk about a little more, hey, it's not all in vain. This is what I've done is, if you're not great on the writing and stuff like that, you can have AI help like ChatGPT. Like, so what I first started out with is like, hey, I wanted to find a job, so I go for a job as a program manager or something like that. Hey, ChatGPT, I'm a tennis professional, blah, blah, this year, blah, blah, blah. I work for this much. I strung this many rackets. Can you change this to be a branding and marketing consultant, or, project manager, or a budget analysis? And it'll help you sort those out, and obviously you fill in and you kind of change things up. But let me read a little bit for what I put in with my tennis experience into my resume. So, branding and marketing consultation, Mains and Crosses LLC. Advise top-tier clients such as Wilson Tennis Sports, Solinco, and Meta, Decentraland, and The Sandbox on branding strategies, digital marketing, and Web3 integration. Next thing would be, hey, played a key role in ATP Grand Slam, Sam Wawrinka's Bauman project, helped raise over $600,000 during the launch, creating an executive successful marketing strategy. What else? Creative video games and content, managing community engagement in Twitter, Discord, enhancing visibility, interactions with NFT projects. What else? Produce and manage podcast series, focusing on building loyalty from organic growth, which led to 40% increased engagement all across platform. So, that was my marketing thing, and not too bad, right? Almost sounds like, hey, this is a nice, thing. Now, this is more of the string side. Hey, founders, branding director, Mains and Process LLC, Alexandria, blah, blah. Establish and build trust brands within tennis community, providing expert string service and event coordination for elite players. Spearheading building initiative through targeting content creation, including podcasts, workshops, social media campaigns, resulting in 30% growth of brand loyalty and dedication following over more decades. That doesn't sound bad at all. And that's all from your experience from tennis and stuff like that. So don't sell yourself short. I feel like a lot of people are like, hey, what do I have to offer? And you have the world to offer. Everybody, I'm not gonna lie, can do accounting. Anybody can do HR, I guess. But anybody can do all these little mundane work, but we do still need these jobs to help pay the bills, supplement it, so you can focus on your tennis string and tennis business. We need some of this money right here. So, we deal with clients all the time, parents, kids. That's like human relations. That's HR right there. That's consulting. That's branding. That's, having a lecture. How are you different than an instructor, in a university, having a half an hour to an hour class every day? Just because you're feeding the ball doesn't mean it's not the same thing as, reading some pamphlets and giving out homework, right? What do you at the end of the project? Hey, go practice on this. You're giving them homework. You're an instructor. Come on now. It's just, don't get yourself in that spot where it's like, it's hopeless and it's like, my God, this is my third career. I'm old now. I'm 40 and above, and I feel useless because I decided to do things I enjoy. And first thing, you gotta have a good team, right? I'm fortunate to have Gift and Chelsea and the rest of the family support the whole tennis. All the money stays in house. Like, guys, if you can condense things, get your mother, brother, sister, cousins, if you can keep your money in house, it will be perfect, right? So I have my next door neighbor. She's great. Melissa just started. She's probably gonna learn how to string in a second here. I'm ready for a team. Daughter started stringing. Eventually Drake will start stringing, and then we'll have a team of 5. And anytime there's an event, we're like, hey, we can send the whole family. And it's not like we need all 5 people, but it does help out the load. Imagine if there was an event where it's definitely enough for like one or 2 people, but if you had 4, you can rotate that in. The expert like myself and Gift can go talk and do human relations and things like that, and bring more content in with social media. And that's how it was at Kalamazoo with Solinco. It's like, yes, I was there for stringing, but I really want to do content, have more videos. But what happened is, if you do more video and do more content and help with that side, your string goes down, so your money goes down on the string side. However, you made more content, so it's a give and take type thing. And I don't know, I'm stuck in the middle here where it's like, hey, I enjoy what I do. I love tennis now. I love string. I love the community. That's why I'm doing this video. However, we do need nice supplemental money. And if I'm making like 80 to 90K on the side, even though it's supposed to be a real job, but no, my 90K is a side gig, and Amazing Cross is my main, because this is what I want to work with. However, at the end of the day, even with all the consulting I do, there's not even enough tournaments to do all this stuff. Even if I did every single Grand Slam, every single tournament, would it be enough? And I don't know. It's just monetary. This is why I'm fighting so hard to get us paid a little higher, get a little more appreciated. Maybe they hire us for expertise. Like, wow, they should be hiring at these major brands, Wilson, Head, Babala, Yannick. They should be hiring like expert tennis stringers, consulting day to day, like, asking like, hey, what's selling, what's working out, what's not working, what are the people asking for? Like, I just feel like they just have their marketing team and that's it. Like, and the stringers are out there on the front lines, like knowing what's going on. Like, Luxon can come out with that string with the smart. They probably didn't have any discussion with any stringers on that. And they're like, hey, let me make this string. We're going to feed it out. We're going to put it for $21, and the stringer's going to sell it. It doesn't work out. Now, who the hell is using smart strings from Luxon? Nobody. Like I said, guys, know our self-worth, and not just like stringing. Like, guys, we're more than just stringers. We run this joint, guys. I think stringing is even much harder than a lot of professions, and the reason is like, we know our craft. We have to go get our hours and expertise in, and then at the end of the day, what do they want? Results. They don't really care. You got all these expertise, ERSA, USRSA. You got a $10,000 machine. You have all this stuff. They don't really care about. They just want results, right? And it shouldn't be that way. These clients should be asking, oh, what does he use? What's his technique? That's because they're uneducated on that. Because the brands, the marketing, with these major brands, they don't want us, or they don't want this to be known. Like, hey, this is not important. The stringers put it on. Just buy the stuff. You'll like it. You don't have to learn the craft. And that's wrong. They should be like internally feeding, like, hey, the stringers are, just as important as a brand, just as important as a tennis racket, just as important as why they have like a 10,000 things going on, showing about the technical stuff on a racket. Like, it's carbon T5 woven, and it's countervailed and all that stuff. But when it comes to string, this is liquid ice, things like that. But like, let's talk about dynamic tension. Let's talk about, getting the strings straight. Like, let's talk about the craftsmanship when you weave them. Like, let's talk about string burns. Let's talk about, extra poundage on the tie off, things like that. Clueless to the public, but for us, it's like, it's our holy grail, but nobody wants to listen. So besides that, guys, I mean, you kind of heard a little bit of my resume and stuff like that. So wish me luck. I'm applying for certain jobs here and there outside my bubble, and I feel so lost because everybody else with these master's degrees, with the IT certifications and all that stuff, and all I have is like, hey, I strung for Venus, and I was stringing at Kalamazoo and worked on Ben Sheldon's racket. We string for Francis Tiafoe here locally. It's like, oh wow, but like, when it comes to that education and the technical stuff that people want to see in the resume, it doesn't really translate much. So I wanted to give you guys some hope. Just because you just finished high school or some sort of college and stuff like that, and you're going back in the workforce, don't feel less inferior to anybody. You guys have plenty of experience. I'm rooting for you, and we'll see you on the next episode. Peace.